All right, moving on to question 7. It says select all values equivalent to -10 divided by 7. All right, and then they give us some options here, and we got to figure out which one of these is equivalent. All right, so for this one, we've got to remember how to work with multiplying or dividing negative numbers. So as a reminder, we've got our Iron Man. So I'm going to draw my Iron Man right here. His eyes are going to be negative symbols. His mouth is going to be a positive symbol. And he's going to have 2 ears, one for division and one for multiplication. And here's how it works. When you are multiplying or dividing, when you are multiplying or dividing, you want to figure out what is the final answer going to be. And this teddy bear, or this Iron Man, is going to help us out. So for example, what is -10 divided by 7? Is that going to be positive, or is that going to be negative? Well, we start off by noting that -10 is a negative, so we're going to cross out one of the negatives. Next, we have the second number to be +7, so I'm going to go ahead and cross out one of the +7s. And what I'm left with is a negative, which means that my final answer is going to be a negative. So I know that -10 over 7 is going to equal a negative number. Some negative number. All right. Let's go ahead and work out the rest of these. Right here, we've got a negative divided by a negative. What does that give us? Well, if we use our Iron Man, we're going to go ahead and block out 2 negatives. What we're left with is a positive, which means that for this first one, my final answer is a positive. And so I know that this one's not going to work, right? Because if this is negative and this is positive, well, those are different. So those are not the same thing. So this one's not going to work. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one, we've got -3 1/7. So this is a negative number, but I don't know if -3 over 1/7 is the same as 10 over 7. So what it's really asking you here to do is to divide and see what you get. So I'm going to go ahead and divide. Remember, bottom number goes outside. So I'm going to say bottom number goes outside, and then top number goes inside. And then the negative I'm just going to leave outside for now. I'll put it right here. Since I know my final answer is going to be negative, I'm just going to leave it there. All right, and now I'm going to ask myself the question. How many times can 7 go into 10? That is 1 time. So 1 times 7 is 7. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to get 3. And I could keep going, but right here I'm going to leave it in this format of -1 with the remainder of 3 over, we originally had 7, so 3 over 7. So -10 over 7 is the same as -1 3 over 7, which is different than the second option. So this doesn't work. For the third option, same idea. We've got 1 3 over 7. Well, that's different than -1 3 over 7, so that doesn't work. For the last one here, or for the second to last one, it looks a little tricky, but not really that hard. Let's start off by just doing the fraction first. So we've got 3 negatives here. So let's start off by dealing with -10 divided by -7. All right. So I'm going to use my Iron Man again. I got a negative. I got another negative. My final answer is going to be positive. So that means I'm going to keep this negative here. So I got negative. And then -10 over 7. Or -10 over -7 is the same as +10 over +7, because my final answer is going to be positive. And so we have -10 over 7, which is the same thing we had originally. So this is part of our answer set. And then finally, the -1 over 3 over 7, that's what we have over here once we divided. So this is part of our answer set. So the last two are equivalent to -10 over 7. So we have this and this, which, if I look at my answer key, is the same. So cool. All right. Hope that makes sense.